My sister's insane $200,000 surrogacy bombshell left me speechless, and I don't know what to do.
Take the 200 grand and run.
For most of my life, my sister Alice has been wanting kids, but has been unable to carry a baby to full term, in part due to endometriosis. She was in a lot of pain and had to have a hysterectomy. Alice and her husband Ben have fostered 5 children and have adopted 2 children with autism and are great parents. That is a handful.
I mean, pretty good, I would say. Seem like good
kids,
Samaritans.
Damn. They have a great home environment and are financially very well off. But recently, Ben, and after a while, Alice, were bitten with the urge to have a kid biologically related to them because they wanted a chance to, quote, do things right and provide the best start in life. We've helped all of these foster kids.
But we really want to do it right this time. You know, we don't want to.
All these kids that we have are really f***ed up. All this baggage, who's got time for it? So they came to me. They asked me to be their traditional surrogates. And they said they would cover all costs, legal, medical, etc. associated with it. They would also be paying off my student debt. Pretty good.
That sounds great.
Renting a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 years, plus giving me a substantial amount of cash. Yo, that's pretty great.
Hard to beat.
I said, sure. It'll be 9 months of my life in exchange for being set up for quite some time. And my immediate family thinks it's a great idea. So everyone's on board.
Get that baby, get that money.
However, when I said sure, I was expecting something along the lines of in vitro fertilization, IUI, where we were going to go to the doctor, get Ben's sperm prepped, me getting shots, basically the whole artificial insemination package. But Alice and Ben, well, they have asked me to get pregnant the old-fashioned way.
Oh, dear.
The traditional way.
You know.
Sausage on
Sausage on.
So basically, Alice, OP's sister, wants her to f Ben.
Yep.
What do we think about this?
I love it. No, I'm just kidding.
Their rationale is 1, it's the cheapest way. They don't want to go to the hospital given the corona pandemic. And 3, they think babies conceived naturally are healthier / the pregnancy would be safer without the chemicals. But I can't just get over the extreme ick factor. And even if this was going to take place at home, I think a syringe would just be fine. Am I going loony for thinking of going back on my word? Is their request reasonable? My immediate family doesn't see anything wrong with it and has been congratulating my sister on her impending baby. On the other hand, if I do give it up, am I also mad for passing up what is essentially $200,000, especially in this economy? So John, go on, take a crack at answering OP's questions. Please put in the comments what you think. There's more to this story, by the way, but short break, what do you think?
I mean, again, if I'm OP, I'm taking it. But it sounds like OP not about that.
Hey, I mean, like, especially the turkey baster option.
You know?
If the turkey baste is on the table, why not? You know?
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
Turkey me, baby. Stuff me.
All right, update.
Oh.
All the comments in my previous post showed me that I'm way too young, dumb, and ignorant with what I signed up for.
Yikes.
I love how OP's like admitting like she's a little out of her depth.
Hey, there you go.
I started researching actual lived experiences, and I read so many
horror stories that I decided to not go ahead with being involved
in any way, shape, or form with helping them have kids. In fact, I'm not even sure I want to ever get pregnant after all the stories about 3rd and 4th degree tears, miscarriages. I'm clearly not in the right stage of life / maturity to even consider doing something of this magnitude.
Not a fun list.
I heard you could tear from the end of the vagina through the taint to the butthole. So it's just one big hole.
I like having wiener.
The difficult part was mustering up the courage to call my sister to tell her my decision. I really look up to my sister and love her lots, and her family and religion has always been about helping others out where we can. When I called her to tell her, we had a short convo at first where I basically said, sorry, can't do it, but that doesn't mean I don't love you any less. And she seemed sad, but she was happy to respect my decision. And I thought that was it.
There we go.
But it's never it. This is Reddit gas, darn it.
Of course it is.
Then just last night, sister and brother-in-law called me back over Zoom. My sister was crying and begged me to reconsider as both of them really wanted a biological child. Brother-in-law told me they were really disappointed in me and hoped I would find it within me to do this. When I told them my concerns, my brother-in-law just said pregnancy and motherhood is a beautiful and natural process and that I was made for this, and more importantly, that I was made for him to get down and dirty with.
Goodness.
I feel like Ben is like pushing a little too hard
a
at this
little
point.
aggressive on it.
Yeah, he was like, hey, I really want to conceive with you the natural way.
It's meant to be.
It's only natural, baby, that we get together. I'm so glad I did this over video call instead of in person because I just hung up on them and faked having connection problems. problems. I've been ignoring their text so far, and frankly, I don't know what else to say. Is there anything else to say? I want to know what everyone else thinks. Put it in the comments. What would you do in this situation? But John, like, what is there to say?
Nothing. At the end of the day, Opie doesn't want to do it. That's it. She should be left alone, not pressured into it. The end.
Yeah. And hey, if you want, like if there's even a small chance of my butthole tearing through my vagina, like I would have second thoughts too.
Not exciting.
Not exciting.
Prospects.
It's really not a thing that I would ever want to go through.
Same.
And again, I'm just glad I got a wiener.
That's right.
Wiener club. Let's go.
Let's go. My sister, the heartless nurse, got fired after I exposed her darkest secrets. Now she's at my doorstep and I'm terrified of what's about to happen.
Based on this title, this seems like an evil nurse is going to inject you with some poison and just murder you.
I'm going to make the hospital disappear. My 26 female, sister 29 female, and I got into a huge argument the other day, and I really need some perspective here. My sister has been working as a labor and delivery nurse for a few years now. She's always wanted to be a nurse and has even said that it was her calling. Lately, though, she's been making horrible remarks about the mothers that come to her.
Like, if you think that you were born for this job, you think you would be like
excited
nice
to help them.
Yeah.
Like you're excited at the opportunity to like, I don't know. Now, I understand that every job is going to have its problems, and sometimes you need to vent about rude people, management pay, etc. However, this was not like that. For example, she talked about how one of her patients, which she referred to as a white whale.
Yikes.
My sister said that the white whale went into labor and brought her husband with her. She talked about how hot the husband was and how she could not understand how whale was able to pull someone like him.
Damn.
How about focus on the baby? She laughed when recalling the sounds she made when she was pushing out her child and said that she didn't look like the type of woman to be strong enough to go the natural route.
It's like someone going to a restaurant asking the chef for like a pizza. The chef is like, I mean, you can't make your own food, you fucking idiot.
In the past, she talked about how another mom-to-be defecated on the table, and she remarked that she wouldn't be surprised if her husband divorced her after seeing something so nasty.
That is pretty nasty, though.
It's nasty, but like, again.
Did the baby get in the poop? Is it a poop baby?
It might be a poop baby. Other stories included a teenage patient who just couldn't keep her legs closed. Isn't that how you deliver?
Yeah, it's like this. Wait, let me get
this. Is how you want the baby?
Legs open.
Here, my sister claimed that she gave her some sound advice, and I'm honestly scared to know what she said to this young girl.
Also, to assume that like this teenage girl is like just because she's pregnant early, like you have no idea what her background is. No idea what happened.
With this girl, my sister laughed about how she gave her a nurse dose of pain meds to get her to shut up and refused to give her a blanket since if she wants to act like an adult, then she deserves to be treated like one. So the fight between her and I happened a few days ago due to her talking about a mother who delivered a premature baby. She admitted that she told this mother that she should have done a better job if she didn't want to have a baby born at 29 weeks.
Oh,
by doing
my
what?
God.
I blew up at my sister and asked how she could be so heartless. How could you be so heartless? My sister told me that she should have the right to vent about stupid mothers who don't know how to do the thing their body is designed for. She also said that I don't work in healthcare, so I have no right to remark on how she handles stress at work. I told her that if her way of handling stress is to be a misogynist, then she needs to find a different career.
Facts.
And I left. My other family members have been divided on this issue. My husband's on my side. My mom and brother think I was in the right to call my sister out, while my aunt, uncle, and dad are leaning towards my sister, saying that my sister shouldn't have to kiss up to her patients in order to do her job effectively.
But the thing is, it's not like she's kissing up.
She's not.
She's actively being abusive and rude.
Literally. I feel bad for some of the things I said, and I know that she needs to let off steam, but saying horrible things about women in their most vulnerable time is cutting for me. In addition, my family does not know this yet, but I'm pregnant.
So OP's feeling it even more.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's like almost like the sister's talking about her.
After hearing about how my sister, a nurse, is treating pregnant women, it just scares me so much for labor and delivery. So am I the a-hole? There is an update here, but is OP
No,
the a-hole?
not the a-hole at all. Her
Right?
sister sounds like a piece of work. Kind of sounds like the sister is like a pregnant lady hater.
I don't know if she's going to change. I
I
really
don't know.
don't.
I don't know. I'm curious what this update is.
And we're curious, honestly, have you ever been in I'm sure like a bad delivery nurse? Like probably somebody watching has had
Yeah, or just
an
any
experience pregnant like
pregnant
this.
belly haters.
Yeah, any pregnancy haters, where are you at? To sum it all up, crap hit the fan. This morning, my sister came over to where me and my husband live and started banging at our door. My husband opened the door and my sister barged her way in, screaming at us. I came into the living room where she was and she started screaming at me even more.
She sounds unhinged.
Very much so. My husband had to stand in front of me because he was worried that she was going to lunge at me. My sister was yelling about how she lost her job because of some BS reports and that she knows that it was me talking crap about her.
Did OP talk crap?
Maybe. She said because I just couldn't stay out of her business. I replied that it was my business if she was bullying pregnant women and then bragging about it. My sister told me to F off, and she said once again that she could talk about anyone any way she likes, as long as she gets her job done, because that's what she went to school for, and I don't know anything. I reminded my sister that I actually might know something, since, I don't know, a certain teenager's family had to say something about her behavior as well.
But someone else tattled first, and then she just kind of piled it on.
Yeah. My sister proceeded to go on a rant about that and her family and how she was supposedly annoying her by giving birth,
a baby.
Having a baby. I had trouble processing what she said because it was honestly mind-boggling. And here's where things got even worse.
How does it get worse?
I thought my sister was saying horrible things about her patients who hadn't done anything wrong with me. I thought that the nicknames were cool. I thought that her telling laboring mothers that they weren't doing things right and dosing a teenager and slut shaming was vile. And yes, misogynistic. However, it was about to get even more atrocious.
How?
During my sister's rant, she said that she wanted to teach that brat a lesson and said that maybe if she gave birth when she was older, the child wouldn't have passed away.
Wow. Imagine saying that after like you just had a miscarriage, like so many emotions, and then some nurse says that.
My mouth dropped. I did not know this before. That poor girl, her baby effing died. I was horrified. I fell to the floor sobbing. Imagining that child in pain and my pregnancy hormones combined got to me, and I was on the floor having a panic attack. I told my sister to get the F out of my home, and my husband escorted her out. My husband held me for a good 15 minutes until I calmed down. So yeah, I'm recovering from all that now. I don't plan on talking to my sister for a while. I do plan on announcing that pregnancy soon, but I'm putting it off until later. Anyways, thanks for the advice, concerns, and well wishes. Peace. Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Help us make sense of this. I am a little bit lost for words. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you been in something similar?
I would distance myself from the sister.
Yeah.
It sounds like they had a relationship where like the sister would vent and like OP would listen.
Cut it all out.
I say cut it out.
Everything. Just separate, at least for now, just have complete separation.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried. Like this sister does not seem fit to be a nurse.
Yeah, I think
I'm glad that she was fired.
Yes, that's actually really good.
It's not often that I'm glad that someone's fired, but fuck,
that's
this person
actually
deserves it.
One of the good things that happened. One of the very few good things that happened in the story. My goodness.
My sister blackmailed me, destroyed my marriage, made me homeless, and now she wants forgiveness? I was 21 when my fiance asked me to marry him. He doesn't have any siblings, but I have 2 older sisters, which is very important as he was also close with them. We grew up together. When we started dating, I don't think our parents stopped celebrating for weeks. He helped me deal with a lot of my anxiety, and even when I gained a little weight and my mother berated me saying he was going to leave me, he told her off and said he loved me for who I was, not what I looked like.
Hey, lady, shut up!
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I know. We were only engaged 6 months before the incident. My middle oldest sister, let's call her Nikki, was a very cold person. She never showed any affection, and she only ever opened up to my fiance as she said she saw him as a brother, and he also helped her through a lot of dark times, such as battling drug addictions and breaking the law.
What kind of laws? Brother-in-law?
She and I never saw eye to eye. I loved her dearly because she was my sister, but didn't like her as a person.
Damn, son.
She sucks. Out of the blue, she tells me she wants to take me clubbing, as we had never been together before, and she felt bad that she was so distant to me. I agreed, and that night we went out. Clubbing wasn't really my style, but once I had a few drinks, I loosened up and began having a little fun.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. The night was going smoothly until Nikki spotted a guy across the room who she claimed she wanted to climb like a tree. She walked over to him, and within a few minutes, she was back, and she had a sour expression on her face. I asked her what was up, but she never said a thing. I kept pressing because I didn't want her night to be ruined. She then told me the guy didn't want her number, but he wanted mine instead. So OP's looking like a bigger snack.
Okay.
I told her he was a loser, and there was plenty of guys who would kill to be with a girl like her. She didn't budge, though. Also, OP, you don't need to lie. It sounds like your sister's a drag.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, she's super cold and no fun and was addicted to drugs. She told me she needed to use the restroom, and then we would leave. I waited for an hour, and during this time I was sipping a lot of different cocktails, and then I started to feel really dizzy and lightheaded. I figured I'd just catch a cab home, as I was certain Nikki had left. On the way out, though, I bumped into a friend of Nikki's whom she had briefly dated. He asked me if I needed a hand to my car, and I explained I was getting a cab, and he said he was getting ready to leave and we could share one. I told him okay, and we walked into the club together and into the first cab we saw. I tried to find my phone in my purse, but I felt myself getting dizzier.
Oh, that's
I don't
bad.
remember what happened next as I blacked out.
Oh my God. Sounds like something else really bad is at play here.
Yeah, I feel like something slipped into her drink. The next morning, I woke up on a hard sofa with my head pounding. When I came to, I realized I was in Nikki's friend's house, and my phone was sitting on the glass table in front of me, but it was flat. When he noticed I was awake, he offered some tablets and water and explained that I had passed out in the cab and didn't remember my parents' address, so he just picked me up and took me back to where he was and laid me on the sofa. Sounds like a nice guy.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I pray so.
I told him I needed to go home as my fiance would be worried, which I'm sure he would be.
Totally.
He called a cab and I left. When I arrived at my parents' house, my mother, father, Nikki, my fiance, and his parents were all standing in the living room. I thought they were worried about me, but the instant I opened my mouth, my fiance asked, "How could you do this to me?"
Come home?
I tried to explain that my phone went flat, but he then went screaming on how I could cheat on him.
Okay, this is weird. This is really weird.
I was baffled. Why would he think that? I tried to explain the night's events, but I kept getting cut off. I guess I could understand maybe why he would think that, because like
If she's gone all night,
gone
I mean,
all
that's
night
like the
at some guy's place.
right.
It doesn't look great. Doesn't look great.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Nikki then chimed in and said I was a lying shit, and how could I be so heartless to a man who has been there for me through thick and thin?
What?
She went on to say I kept flirting with the random guys all night, and then when she went to the bathroom, she saw me leave with her friend.
What?
I told her what happened, and she showed me photos on her phone where, as we were leaving, his hand was on my back, ushering me outside. Yes, the photo did look horrible, and I was so drunk I didn't even realize his hand was on my back at all.
The optics are terrible.
The optics are pretty bad. Going home with some guy drunk. Yeah, not great. My fiance was so angry. He kept shouting, and his mom and mine were both crying. I then asked Nikki to call her friend, and he would confirm nothing happened. But when he called him, he told a completely different story. He said I begged him to take me back to his, and when we did, we slept together multiple times.
Oh my God.
Which is a totally different story than what he said.
To
initially.
her.
To her.
To her face. Oh,
Also,
this is
makes
gross.
him look bad, though.
super bad.
Because like
it's gross.
to hook up with like a drunk girl, like that's assault. I saw red and started crying and yelling at Nikki because I knew she had organized this whole thing to make me look bad.
Oh, jeez.
I wonder if she slipped something in her drink.
I mean, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
What a terrible sister.
I begged my fiance to believe me, but he just shook his head and left. When everyone had cleared out, my mother slapped me across the face and told me to get out. I understand the boyfriend being mad, but like, I feel like cheating's bad, of course, right?
Yeah.
But to
slap your child?
One, it seems like she was super drunk, which everyone knew.
Yeah.
And it seems like she got taken advantage of more than
right?
anything else.
Why
by
are
this
they not
dude.
thinking that happened and like consoling her?
But let's say even if she was sober, even if she fully consented to this experience, like I feel like cheating isn't like to disown to have your parents kind of slap you in the face in front of everyone for cheating seems like a mismatch.
An insane overreaction. Like that is terrible parenting.
Yeah,
terrible parenting.
So yeah, I left and went to a friend's house where I stayed for a few nights. During those nights, I called my fiance, crying and pleading with him to believe me that nothing happened, but it all fell on deaf ears as he never returned any of my calls or texts. My mom texted me and told me she was kicking me out and that she couldn't believe I would do such a thing, and a lot of other hurtful slurs I don't think I could repeat here. She didn't even give me time to get my things, and she threw everything out.
I'm getting really angry at the mom, honestly.
What a parent.
That is unacceptable.
I was homeless and single in less than a day and a half. My entire world had been taken away because of Nikki's lies. Nikki sucks.
Bro.
Nikki's evil.
To me, it's like seeing her get disowned. She doesn't step up and say like, okay, whoa, this has gone too far.
Too
like,
far, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Now for weeks, I tried everything to get my fiance back and my family. The limit for me, though, was when Christmas time had come and I went over to my mother's house to try and reconcile. I was sleeping from couch to couch during this time. But when I got to my parents' house, I knocked on the door, but no one answered. My friends then called me and then told me they just saw on Facebook that my family was in another state celebrating Christmas and they had posted pictures online. Everyone was there. My sisters, parents, grandparents, and even fiance and his family. When I saw the photos, I couldn't stop crying as they all looked so happy. This sucks.
This sucks.
Nikki. I cried for days and days before deciding to block them all. I even returned my engagement ring. My friend knew someone a couple hours away who was looking for some help in his restaurant, and he even had living arrangements above where he worked so I could get rent at a cheap price and work at the same time. So basically, like, I feel like right now she's like, I just need to rebuild my life.
Yeah, from square one.
From square one.
It's all gone.
I wanted to start over with my life as it hurt me that no one took my side and they all left me to fend for myself. I was able to move pretty quickly and was doing well. The apartment was tiny and I had to work 10 plus hours almost every day, but I was able to save a lot of money. I'm not living in the apartment anymore. I was able to rent a much nicer condo, but I'm still working at the restaurant as assistant manager.
Man, good on you, OP, for
Just like recreating your life.
Rebuilding.
After. I mean, a lot of people would just like fold.
100%.
Now it's been roughly 2 years since I left and I've still not spoken to any of my family. I have no idea what's going on with them until I got a knock on my door. It was my ex-fiance.
Oh my God.
I was shocked to say the least. All these feelings came rushing back and all I wanted to do was jump into his arms. Oh, that's heartbreaking. But then I remembered the pain I felt and tried to slam the door in his face, but he stopped it and asked that I let him explain. He said that Nikki had gotten married and she had confessed that she lied about the situation because she had found someone she loved so much and realized what a horrible thing she had done. A little bit too late though, right?
Literally a little too late, girl. Sorry, but you already ruined her life.
Her whole life.
And basically at 2 years out, she's probably gone through like a grief process of like losing her family.
Yeah.
Right. And that's has to be a tough process. And now, no.
So what do you think about the fiance though? Like what would you do in this situation? Because like of the people, like I feel like the fiance had the most like reasonable response because it's like if someone cheats on you, kind of like, hey, I gotta want you in my life. You know, you leave the relationship.
You didn't slap her or like you know any of this.
He was just upset.
Ridiculous
he
stuff.
thought. I mean, it seemed like she cheated on him.
Yeah. That's probably a fair reaction. I think probably it's like just gonna take some time. I think you have to sit and process. Honestly, I don't know if has anyone been through anything similar like this, like in this realm. I mean, what do you do? I don't know.
I have no idea. What would you guys do? Let us know. But there's still more to the story. I asked him how he found me, and he said my friend told him. My entire family had been trying to get in touch with me and wanted to see me. I told him I needed time to see if I even wanted to have them in my life. He left, and I've been a mess since. I don't know what to do. I know I will never forgive Nikki, which you shouldn't. That girl.
Yep.
She could rot for all I cared, but it's hard for my other family and fiance because they didn't know she was lying. Even so, the parents' overreaction.
Yep.
Like, you don't disown your kid like that.
Yep.
But I also felt like they abandoned me too quickly without letting me explain my side. I don't know if I should forgive them. Any advice would be much helpful. Thank you for taking time to read. I think maybe you forgive the fiance. Maybe. I don't know. But maybe the parents, just because like you want your family back.
They have so much trust to build. I think with the fiance, the one really good thing about that is it's like now she can have support back in her, just emotional support back in her life after fighting
so
for 2
much,
years. You know, that would probably be pretty nice. But yeah, the family, I don't know.
What would you guys do? Put in the comments. Like, we're kind of at a loss here. Like, this is, I think if this was me, 2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
I probably would have moved on. I probably would have built a lot of hate, a lot of resentment.
A lot of resentment for sure.
Yeah, a lot of resentment, especially for maybe everyone. Because I'm like, hey, like, even my fiance, like, listen to me.
Yeah.
You know?
And didn't like, because the situation sounds fishy. Like, you don't, I feel like a reasonable person is like, wait, what's going on here? Is at least unsure. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would have just investigated more. Like, I understand the fiance being mad and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But like,
after a beat, like, okay, wait.
Yeah, let her hear her side out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the family and fucking Nikki, evil, like Satan.
Legit.
Terrible.
Legit. Disabled wife inherits over $100,000, but I refuse to let her spend a dime on herself. Am I the a-hole?
She doesn't need a wheelchair.
All that money in your bank account, you can't use it.
Can't use it.
You're not allowed.
I won't.
How dare you think just because it's in your bank account, then you deserve to spend that money? Before the birth of our daughter, my wife and I both worked full-time in low, middle-earning jobs, with my wife earning a bit more than I did, but not by much. My wife returned to work out of necessity when our daughter was 3 months old. Her mental health became pretty bad, and she has a minor disability that makes work life a little hard, and she found it a bit worse after having our daughter. But we had to do what we had to do.
I don't like how in these Reddit stories they never say what the disability is. They always keep us guessing. I'm always guessing ADHD.
Which is funny because they're already sharing like such insanely personal details.
I know.
My wife's grandma, who sort of raised her and was her only family, passed away sadly when our daughter was 6 months old. But my wife inherited everything she owned.
From the aunt dying?
Big windfall. Now, it was a big inheritance. Not enough for both of us to immediately retire, but a lot. Enough for us to buy a decent house outright, a new car each, and to put some away for a comfortable retirement.
That's a pretty hefty inheritance.
Shortly after her grandma died, my wife stopped working and became a stay-at-home mom, partially due to grief and struggles at her job, and a bit because she would have always preferred to stay at home with our daughter.
Yeah, she won the dead grandma lottery.
Like, come on, why not? Be what you want to be at that point.
Bing, bing, bing.
The thing is, though, I would rather not work and be a stay-at-home dad too, but I've been sucking it up because we all need an income to get by. Now, my wife spoke to me recently about how to budget so we can live off of my income. She's been dipping into her savings to pull her weight, but now that's all tied up in investments. I said if I'm the one who has to work, and I'd rather not, I don't think that I should have to spend my money funding her hobbies and spending money.
So your girl just inherited $500 million, which you're benefiting from
Yep.
the house and
New
the
house, new
cars
car.
and the investment.
His own new car, like specifically just for him.
And you're saying, I feel like you're not pulling your fair share here.
You know, that McDonald's, come on.
No, that gym membership,
What are you doing?
cut it out.
Get it out of here. If she chooses not to work, then she can buy clothes at the charity shop instead of new ones.
No.
And get a friend to cut her hair for free, etc.
Bro, you what?
All she has to do is wear a potato sack and cut her own hair and eat crumbs. Then everything is fair.
I have no idea why you would want your wife to like literally live in the sewer.
She can get a job working a night shift or start an online business or something to fund her spending money. Now, I'm happy to pay for stuff for our daughter, seeing as she's my responsibility, so I don't think I'm being unreasonable here. I work 36 hours a week, and I already pay for the bills and food.
That's low-key not a lot of hours.
She said that that's not fair, and if I get to enjoy my gym membership and hobbies like video games, but the difference is I'm paying for them with my money.
Where did you think you got this house and this car? I don't
Literally.
like.
It's so confused.
The pea brain on this guy. This is like his brain is like that big, bro.
Now, my wife said her inheritance was worth more than if she spent her whole life working, and without that, both of us would be working anyway and having higher expenses from paying a mortgage and car loans. So I should count that as her contribution and share my money with her.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's
This
utterly
guy's an
ridiculous.
absolute, like numbnuts. I mean, all right. First, I want to know what everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
Like, please put it in the comments. I think this guy's being completely unreasonable.
Completely.
He's not taking into account that his wife, with the inheritance she got, invested in their life. I honestly think like a solution might be to have her charge him rent, so he feels
Yes.
like they're like if you want to keep the finances separate or something, or he's like feeling insecurity about that, like, all right, she owns this, charge him rent.
I mean, I think the best thing to split is them.
Honestly, this guy sounds like a nincompoop.
Literally, like
Nincompoop.
why would she continue to?
I mean, the kid makes it more complicated. Is crazy usually is like when people write these Reddit stories, they're writing from their perspective.
Yes.
Right. And so they're already biased and selecting information.
Yes.
And when someone looks so obviously like an asshole from their own point of view, cherry picking the information that
Makes them
they
look
want in
best.
the story that makes it look best. Like this guy's probably even
Yes. I was the last surviving employee in a toxic company. When they tried to extort me, I burned the company to the ground.
Yeah, screw capitalism. Burn it all. Burn the...
Man.
I was working in an organization that was super toxic, so much so that we had a revolving door. Most employees only lasted a few months.
If that you have a crazy employee turnover, just don't take it.
To counter this, our management put a 3 months notice into everyone's contract, including the existing employees.
You know this company's good when they force you to stay after you want to leave.
Aha! Now, it's not strictly illegal where this happened, but it is very unusual. I believe the idea behind it was that it would make it harder for the employees to find a job outside, as potential employers didn't usually want to wait for 3 months.
Yeah, they want to just lock these people down so they basically have slaves.
This didn't work, as most people just simply quit and waited a month or two before starting their job hunt. Now, I was there for almost 4 years. I needed the money, so I put up with whatever abusive crap was thrown at me.
Sounds like a terrible company.
It doesn't sound fun.
Zero fun, sir. All right.
My boss was a guy we'll call Vince. Now, Vince was not particularly good, but he sometimes respected the fact that I was the most tenured grunt in this organization. Congratulations!
Put that on the placard.
Do note that after 2 years, I was doing a lot of additional work to my official responsibilities, primarily because I was the only one who knew how to do it. Everyone else who knew had already left. This will be important later. Enter Rajesh, also not his actual name. Rajesh was poached by a somewhat infamous company and was literally flown in from a different continent. Rajesh was brought into the company to strategically improve our division. This was quite strange given that our division generated the most profits. That is strange. Now, within months, Rajesh made the environment even more toxic. He pulled Vince's team under him and got Vince fired, and he actively encouraged us grunts to spy on each other.
It's bad enough being a grunt, but when you can't even trust your fellow grunts?
Your fellow gruntman?
Like, who do you have but your fellow grunts?
But your grunthood. Rajesh also had it out for me from day one. He started making my life much harder than the others. This culminated in him taking me aside and telling me that I'm not pulling my weight. Now, at this point, I was doing quite well in the organization, and I had been doing a lot of additional work critical to our business since I only knew certain systems and processes. So I was quite angry. I started looking around, but fortunately, I was able to find a job that was willing to wait the 3 months.
Okay, so
this
he
is
has
good.
it out. Let's go.
So it was my turn to take Rajesh aside and tell him, I quit. Boy, Rajesh was pissed. He went from denial, you can't quit, to negotiation, what if I gave you a raise at the end of the year, before finally acceptance.
Like, give me a raise right now if you want me to stay.
Hey, in 12 months, we'll give you more money, but it's going to be worth the same amount of money. Thus, I was serving my notice and working away like an honest bee, my usual work and the additional work. At this point, I was called in by HR and told that Rajesh wanted me gone.
It's like, hey, I really think we should break up. And then the person you're breaking up was like, no, I'm breaking up with you.
The insane part was that they wanted me to pay the company the salary from the 2.5 months that I would be missing.
If they're firing.
They're firing.
Yeah, that's making sense.
It makes no sense. I obviously refused, then went back in to check the contract. Turns out both parties had to agree to leave early. Otherwise, the company would have to compensate the person leaving.
The company has to pay OP if they want to fire OP earlier than the 3 months.
Reverse Uno. The next day, I stopped doing almost all of my work. I logged in and logged out my hours and did jack diddly. I stopped doing any of the additional work I'd been doing as well and started taking it really slow on my primary job responsibilities.
I love this.
Since no one else understood the details of what I did, I knew it would be very hard for Rajesh or HR to prove that I was doing any of this on purpose. So I sat back with popcorn. Soon, there was a complete meltdown all around. Rajesh would pull me into meetings and scream and try to bully me, and I would say nothing but smirk in his face.
I gotta listen to you, Rajesh.
Take that. Next, they tried to have someone else learn the additional work I used to do from me so that way they could do what I was doing. Remember how I said earlier that I was the only one who knew some of these old systems and processes? Well, now I claimed that I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I got amnesia. Well, now that I claimed that I didn't remember any of them, there was obviously Going to be no handover. Rajesh could do nothing as none of this had been my responsibility or part of my contract since the leadership had only been too happy to see me do this for free. Soon my workplace turned into a dumpster fire. HR and Rajesh smartened up and offered me to buy me out of my notice if I cooperated and helped my transition. But I refused.
Let's go, OP.
Then, to twist the knife further, I started having meetings with fellow grunts. Remember, everyone was always a newbie, and encouraging them to leave as well. Indirectly, though, so I couldn't be implicated. HR tried to get me to leave twice more, but I ended up serving the full 3 months. Remember the mutual consent from the contract.
Wow.
Wow. If you've been in a similar situation, I have to imagine one person watching this has been
Yeah, I want to know your worst jobs.
Yeah, your worst job experience. Like, how did that go? What did you do to get out of it? But yeah, what do you think here? Is OP the a-hole?
No, I mean, it sounds like OP honestly is doing a good thing by preventing all these other workers from getting abused in the same way. Like, these sound like some pretty predatory business practices.
Very much so.
So read your contract.
Read them.
Right? Always read it. And people will be like, oh, like, I thought we were doing this in good faith. Don't matter.
Nope.
Have the contract there. You know,
Yes.
the contract is there when times are bad, not when times are good.
Exactly.
So that's what I learned from this story.
You know, that is a great lesson to take away.
Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that I'm his mommy because he's a little boy that doesn't know how to fold his tidy whities?
Mommy, I want an apple juice.
I started seeing a guy about 3 weeks ago, and let me be clear, we have known each other for some time because he was a friend of my cousin. He asked me out a few weeks ago, and I said yes.
Very nice.
I've known him since I was like 15. I also know his family too because our moms were colleagues. So anyway, he came to my house 5 days ago to pick me up because we're having a picnic date, which is also cute.
I think a great idea.
I was in the living room watching a kids show called Phineas and Ferb. There's 148 summer vacation going on just to end it. This cartoon has had a huge impact on my life. I still watch it whenever my mood is off so that I can just cling to this innocent child inside of me. I was laughing at a part and he was standing next to me and he looked at me and was a little confused with this judging expression. He asked me if my nephew was in the house. I told him no. Then he asked me who's watching the cartoon since all my family members are adults. I told him, hey, I'm watching this cartoon. I really like this cartoon. I then proceeded to tell him that I still watch this particular cartoon because it was part of my childhood and I have some good memories linked to it. Like, she's like opening up. She's telling me, hey, this is like why this means so much to me.
Of course.
Yeah, just trying to like give a little insight into her childhood. He told me that's embarrassing and ridiculous. He told me that I'm a 24-year-old woman. Why am I watching something kids watch? I need to grow up.
He's literally like, you know how like 5 and 8-year-olds are like, I'm not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
This guy is like in his 20s, like, I'm not a baby anymore.
Yeah, I don't watch cartoons.
This is for babies.
I'm 24 3/4.
Come on. Yeah.
This really bothered me. It would bother me too. I don't think there is an age limit to watching cartoons. Since that day, he would make fun of me. Whenever we go to a restaurant, he would jokingly order from the kids menu. He would talk to me in a baby voice if I'm a kid. Whenever I would tell him to stop, he would say, "Aw, is your OP man? How cute." Dude, I'm literally cringing at this baby voice I'm making right now. And sometimes even using phrase like, young lady. It was really frustrating. And today we went to a party. His friends were there too. I was meeting them for the first time. He introduced me and said to his friends that he needs to be locked up because he's technically dating a minor.
Hi, 911. I have a child molester right
Chris
here.
Hansen, we've got him.
Get him.
He then tells them how I still watch cartoons and they all laughed. Now I'm like, OP's friends are kind of too. Yeah, some of them find it awkward. He also made fun of my height too. I'm 5'4", he's 6'1". He proceeds to shuffle my hair like most people do kids. And I got mad and told him, it's funny how he makes fun of me being a kid, yet he still needs mommy to do his laundry. His smile wiped off of his face. I further said, well, at least this kid knows how to keep herself clean and knows how to drive, unlike him who failed his driving test 2 times.
He's young and stupid.
The room was silent. Later, when I got home, I got calls from my cousin that I overreacted and embarrassed him in front of his friends. I think the clapback is deserved. She said he was right to make fun of me because who the hell watches cartoons when they are adults? I told her I am not interested in entertaining boys who feel like they can make fun of anyone they want, but when someone does the same to them, they act like little babies. I guess this is it. Probably the shortest relationship I have been to. And there's a little update.
Oh,
I want to know what John thinks, but also, hey, put it in the comments below. What do y'all think? We need to know. But John, tell us.
I think everyone here is the a-hole except OP. Not liking cartoons. I don't know what's wrong with all of you guys.
Yeah. Well, my cousin again texted me. She told me he was upset, and after the party, he went home with his girl best friend and spent the night there. She wants me to apologize because apparently I'm letting a good guy slip. Well, let him slip. Let him slip into a volcano. Pretty I feel like he maybe hooked up with his girl best friend.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
That's great. Like, literally,
and the
he's
fact that cousin is like,
still.
yeah, you're letting a good one slide.
How about someone who doesn't cheat on me and like mock
Insult
me endlessly?
me.
Literally.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. My husband wants to punish our daughter for cheating, but there's only one problem. She's only 7 years old.
What does she do? Hold hands with another little boy?
My husband and I have a 7-year-old daughter together, Layla. A few months ago, Layla got a boyfriend, Lucas.
To have a quote unquote boyfriend at 7, that's early.
Some people had them when they were 5.
Did you have a girlfriend at 5?
May or may not had a shorty. They're both 7 years old, so this is obviously not a real relationship. Says you, mama. Now, these two just hold hands sometimes.
Scandalous.
And they drew each other hearts for Valentine's Day. This week, though, Layla was apparently holding hands with another boy. Sam is going hard. My God. And this other boy also sent Layla a Valentine's Day love letter.
Dang, Layla's like John when he was 5.
Lucas took offense to all this. We found out because Lucas's parents called us. They told us that Lucas won't be coming over this Saturday like originally planned because he is mad at Layla.
I can understand, Lucas, you know?
My husband wants us to punish Layla and wants me to have a talk with her about faithfulness.
Okay, I agree with half of that.
Yeah. Punish her. At first, I thought my husband was joking, but no, he was serious. He says that Layla cheated on Lucas and I, as her mother, should do something about it. I told my husband that Layla is 7, not a cheater, and I won't treat her as such.
I love how you have to say that. Layla is 7.
Come on. He then accuses me of raising a cheater and encouraging the bad behavior. So am I the a-hole for wanting to punish Layla? Ladies and gentlemen, I think you need to tell us what you think or if you've raised a cheater. But Sam, have you raised a cheater? What are your thoughts?
All right, well, first of all, twist. I think maybe the husband's cheating.
Oh!
Because they always say in a bunch of our stories, it's like the accuser who is accusing that person of cheating is usually self-conscious about their own cheating.
That is such I honestly totally think that's very, very possible.
I think that
Good
could be
catch.
the case.
Wow.
Second, though, second. I don't agree with punishment. I don't agree this person is a cheater. But what I do agree with is like just having this conversation, like I said.
Totally.
I think is an a-hole to call the 7-year-old a cheater. A-hole move to like call the mom the raiser of a cheater.
Yes. I love
but
that
the
part.
fact that it happened, I think it opens up a conversation which I actually think could benefit the daughter. So I say OP, not an a-hole. Father, a-hole. 7-year-old daughter, also not an a-hole.
Case closed.
My mom forced me to stay infertile, and now I can't have kids. So I'm going to get my revenge.
By hiring an army of babies.
To invade her village and take her land.
Aha!
Control the fiefdom. My mom is forcing me to not have children. I'm in my early 30s. I got my first period when I was 9 years old, and they've always been gruesome. Imagining like The Shining, like the elevator doors opening
Just
and this blood rushing out.
Yoinks.
More blood than anyone could ever imagine. Cramping so bad that I had to miss school and couldn't eat or drink or do anything because the pain was so bad.
Oh,
damn,
man.
do periods get that bad?
I feel like I've heard of similar kind of situations.
That's crazy. Hey, if you've had a crazy bad period, let us know. Put it in the
Drop
comments.
it in the comments. We know. We see you, ladies.
We see you, ladies. 70% of you watching OKOP. We love you. you, in my mother's eyes, I was a faker, making things up for attention or to get out of tests. She refused to take me to see doctors or anything.
Wow.
I wasn't even allowed pain meds. Well, when I moved in with my then boyfriend at 27, he convinced me to go see a doctor because that wasn't healthy, which, I mean, probably not to be just like gushing like the Red Sea, you know, all the time.
At least doesn't hurt to check, honestly.
Yeah, especially if it's like hurting a ton. And I did. I later got diagnosed with a rare reproductive issue. I'm vague for privacy. That essentially could have been fixed if caught earlier. Also, if anyone has any ideas of what this rare thing is.
Sam always wants to know the details.
I want to know the details.
They're pertinent.
But the thing is, it wasn't caught. The issue had gone on for long enough that the damage was pretty much irreparable. In the end, I was basically given the choice of surgery A, which would leave me infertile with less complications and a lower fatality rate, or surgery B, which would leave me fertile, but with a higher risk of complications/death due to the severity of my issue. So John, and all of you, which surgery would you choose? Surgery A or surgery B?
Sam, I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to have a hot take.
Hot take.
I'm going with A. I want to keep living.
Okay, I would love to know what everyone else would choose, but I think OP is with you. I chose surgery A. I can no longer have biological children. My then boyfriend and I are now married, and we're looking into other options to have a child. We're heavily leaning towards adoption, and I confided in my mother about this. Big mistake.
Oh.
Don't tell your mom anything.
Yep.
She started scolding me and basically told me that I had to have biological children. She told me that if I didn't have bio kids, then I was a failure of a woman, and how dare you let the bloodline die?
Oh, the audacity.
Or something like that. She told me that if we adopted, then she would do everything in her power to make me and my husband look terrible so the adoption fails. So she's trying to actively sabotage
Like,
them having kids.
what kind of mother would you possibly be to do this to your own child?
A bad one.
A terrible one.
The icing on the cake is she told me that I should just reverse a surgery. Well, I can't do that. It's physically impossible. It's not like just getting your tubes tied. I literally no longer have a uterus or ovaries or any of it. There is no way to reverse this surgery. I mean, what do you say to your mom? Like, what do you do?
You hire an army of babies and then
Yes, and take the fiefdom.
take the fiefdom.
I mean, I think you say, Mom, fuck off.
Yeah, for real.
And maybe like record her and say, I'm going to use this against you in court, bro.
Ooh.
I went off on her and I explained that, you know, if she were a competent parent who actually did her job, then maybe I wouldn't be infertile. You know, and
Facts.
like when she
Facts.
explain, like I feel like when OP was like, "Hey, like I have these super periods where I'm expelling more blood than a teenage boy expels blood into his dick when he's having boners constantly," then maybe I wouldn't have this issue. I called her a terrible mom and a terrible person. I told her that if I ever do adopt a child, she would never get to meet them. She went silent. Damn, that's like she's laying down the law. And then hung up. She hasn't said a word to me since. But now every woman in my family is calling me a useless bitch and a horrible daughter.
God.
Did she know what the mom said, though? Like, do all these people know? Do they know context?
I doubt it.
Even family I haven't seen since I was a baby are calling me a bitch. Now I'm wondering if I went too far.
It has to end at some point. And also think about this. This is just the tip of the iceberg for all the stuff. So like, I don't know. Does anyone have mothers like this? Like, I pray that you don't. But
Please don't. If you do, give us those juicy details.
yeah, let us
In
know.
the comments, please. So what should OP do?
You could argue that it's too harsh to completely cut her out. I think it's kind of tip of the iceberg. There's probably more that the mom did to her.
But I also think the threat to cut her out
The threat. Yeah.
is honestly all that is needed.
Yeah.
And then maybe if it continues, then
See if she
actually
fixes
follow
her act.
through.
I agree.
My psycho roommate cut my hair as revenge and is reporting me to the police. But it gets worse.
What more are you going to do? Steal all my money?
This happened maybe 5 minutes ago. I'm scrambling to try to figure out what to do before the police are called. I'm living off campus with a roommate that I was paired with through our college. We had a little bit of a disagreement about her paying her portion of the bills, as in, I guess she's not going to pay her portion of the bills.
Yeah, a disagreement.
And rent on time. And her boyfriend is basically living there without the landlord's permission, which violates the lease.
Wait, that's illegal.
That's double not rent paying.
Yeah,
You owe
bro.
me double, baby.
Well, everything seemed to be fine later on. So we're hanging out in my room and she asks me to braid her hair. Afterwards, she offers to braid mine. She goes to grab hair ties or something. I'm not paying attention. I'm on my phone. Well, apparently she grabs scissors and decided to cut my hair as revenge for pissing her off. which I guess like pissing her off means like, hey, like, could you pay the rent on time?
How dare you ask for what you're owed? How dare you?
I'm expecting her to braid my hair when suddenly right next to my ear, she cuts a huge chunk of my hair off. I freak out and instinctively turn around while batting her hand away like this. Right? Her hand flies into her face. And the scissors cut her cheek deep. And they're expensive shears, so they're very sharp. And now she's saying, you assaulted me, and then threatened to call the police.
The tables that these people mentally flip is incredible.
How the turntables.
All right, they're still bored of this story, but what does OP do? All right, she's being accused of stabbing her roommate.
You finished your job. Time to catch these hands, baby. Catch these scissors.
I told her I would give her the money she wanted and we didn't have to call the police, but I had to pawn some things, so I needed a minute to gather some stuff to sell to get the money, which this even makes less sense.
Makes no sense. What is going on?
I just did this to buy some time. I'm not giving her shit. Do I wait for her to call the police and explain when they get here? I considered calling the police first, but I don't want to incriminate myself. I really didn't mean for her to get hurt. All I did was turn around and push her hand away before I could even process that she had shears in her hand. Either way, I don't want to live with a psycho anymore. Is there anything I can do? I have a copy of her lease and I'm going to look it over. We're on the lease, but she's just a co-signer as she was 17 when we signed the lease, but has since turned 18. Our lease is up in August. Also, this might sound stupid, but she ran off with a chunk of hair. Can the police make her give it back to me? My hair is very long and I'd like to at least donate it, as I'll have to cut the rest of my hair to match since the psycho had a third of my hair in her hand. I love how OP is still thinking about like donating her hair.
A peculiarly empathetic thought to have at this very moment.
I need my hair back because I need to donate it. There's an update. There's more.
Oh.
We're getting some juicy updates
Yeah, we
too.
are.
But I don't know. What does OP do?
Your
do you
boy
think?
loves going nuclear. I think we turn this into a true crime podcast.
Oh, so you think you stab?
I started the job. I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I'm a finisher.
Damn straight.
Hello.
General Kenobi.
Jack shit happened. I called the non-emergency line right after I posted this, and they sent out 2 officers. I made the mistake of telling my roommate that I had called the police and that she had committed assault.
Oh!
She must have realized that it looked pretty bad and rethought her strategy. She disappeared into the bathroom for a while until the police got here. And when she came out, what do you think happened?
She apologized and they hugged and everything was fine.
That's not what happens in these stories.
Ah!
She cut her hair to look like mine.
Of course she did, bro.
Instead of doing a hack job, though, it actually looked pretty good.
yeah. Funny how mine is all crazy and yours is just like a cute little bob.
She told them that we had agreed to cut each other's hair and that she just pulled a little bit of a prank and decided to cut my hair a bit shorter than originally planned. I freaked out, and that's how she got cut.
Evil genius.
So smart.
4D chess.
She convinced them that she had apologized, but I was looking for a way to get her out of the house and was lying. She showed them our text where she asked if I want to do her hair without specifying what we were doing. So it's like, oh, you want to do your hair, meaning braiding, but it could be interpreted as like cutting the hair.
Dang.
She also showed all the earlier texts where we're fighting about money, and I threatened to get the landlord involved. She even showed them the hair in the trash can. I guess my story sounded less believable with all the evidence against me. In the end, they didn't seem to give a shit.
Dang.
They
Tough
said this was
break.
a civil matter, and as long as she didn't feel assaulted, that they were done. I didn't want to press my luck and get arrested, so I kept my mouth shut, and I was treated like a criminal. And now this insane girl is outside my room, threatening to destroy all my shit. Please put in the comments, have you ever dealt with a crazy roommate like this?
Oh my God.
There's an update. There's an update to be clear. We're not even close to done. But John, what would you do?
Leave as fast as you can.
I had a similar thing. We had this crazy girl living with us for like a month, and then she became like a stalker. Like she would like wake us up in the middle of the night by looking over us in our beds. It was so bad. She was crazy. I recorded some of her rampage to the door, and I'm collecting any messages that sound even remotely threatening that her and her boyfriend have sent me. I'm taking pictures of all of my stuff in case she destroys my property. The office for the apartment just closed, so I can't go to my landlord till tomorrow, and I don't have any way to contact him directly. What the hell do I do? Can I go to the police station and file a report even though the police just came here and decided to believe her? And there's another update. Jane turned out to be scary good at lying and manipulating, which is a psycho roommate. So yesterday I got off Reddit and got collecting evidence and making a script so I knew exactly what to say when I went to talk to the police again. My neighbor that we share a wall with came over after hearing Jane flipping out, and I explained everything. The neighbor offered to watch my cat and said that she'd call me if it seemed like Jane was going to do anything crazy while I went to the station. I packed all my most valuable things in my car and then recorded a quick video video of me telling Jane that I was going out and that she did not have permission to go into my room or touch my things, just in case she wrecked something and said I did it, because she's freaking manipulative. I told the police about everything and brought my copy of the police report, showed them harassing messages Jane had sent in the past, messages proving we often braid each other's hair, probably unnecessary, but I was trying to prove that I agreed to let her braid my hair, but I'd never let her cut it.
Now I'm going to be a little extra cautious.
Oh, yeah. No one's touching my hair.
Yeah.
Especially, with John's hair. It's so luscious and beautiful.
Not these years that I put in, though.
I also provided proof that I'm a cosmetology student, freelance makeup artist, and occasional hair model. So I would never let someone who isn't trained cut my hair, as it's an important part of my job/hobby.
Okay.
So literally, her hair is her job. The officers I spoke to this time took me seriously. But before I could even finish talking to them, my neighbors text me a video of Jane tossing my open train case onto the corner and stomping on some of my very expensive makeup as it falls out.
Oh my.
Jane is destroying everything.
Literally.
I'm an idiot and forget the one thing that is important to my livelihood right now in the bathroom. But I was in a hurry and grabbed my personal makeup without thinking. OP, this is not on you. This is on the crazy roommate destroying your shit.
Please.
Details aside, crazy bitch tossed out thousands of dollars worth of my property. Fuck, makeup is expensive.
It is.
2 new officers escorted me back to my apartment. And when we got there, Jane immediately turned on the water. Manipulation activated. Surprisingly, she was cooperative and left with one of the officers to talk at the station, I guess, while the other helped me scare away the vultures trying to steal makeup off the street and bring it inside. I noticed my prescribed Wellbutrin and Xanax bottles were missing from the bathroom. I know, stupid place to keep them, but who the hell steals Wellbutrin? And the officer said they would question her. And then this morning, I looked at the public records for my county and saw Jane's mugshot with charges for assault with a deadly weapon and malicious mischief.
Wow.
So she's getting some charges.
She got it. She caught him.
And then there's one final update. Jane took a plea bargain and pled guilty to misdemeanor assault and destruction of property. I'm a bit upset that she pretty much got a slap on the wrist with a sentence and fine she received, but I suppose it's worth it because she cooperated in breaking our lease. I filed for a restraining order against her and filed a claim with my insurance company for my damaged and stolen makeup, which was thankfully covered by my renter's insurance. Jane's parents moved all of her stuff out of the apartment yesterday and gave me a little money to cover her portion of the rent that she owes me. It wasn't nearly enough, but they seem like surprisingly nice people, and I feel bad that they have to deal with such a nutcase of a daughter. Sheesh. All right. I want to know what all of y'all would do in this situation. Put it in the comments. Also, if you've dealt with any crazy roommates, we want to hear those stories.
Yeah, please.
But John, what do you have to say?
Look, obviously the roommate's the a-hole. Obviously. OP did nothing wrong. I feel bad for OP, how just manipulated she was this whole time. It was crazy. I'm glad that at least psycho roommate's out of the picture now. OP can kind of just move on from the situation. You know what I mean?
It also sucks how you just go to college and it's just, luck of the draw.
Truly.
It's you could get a great roommate that's your best friend, or you could get a literally batshit crazy roommate that makes your life miserable.
Pick a straw out of a hat. That's what it is. I'm deserting my grandmother for her birthday because what she did to me was way worse. Am I the a-hole?
You are done having birthdays. It's my time to shine, old lady.
So I am female, 17, and have a grandmother, 61, who is turning 62 very soon. I love my grandma very much and overall respect her until recently. A few months.
Now she's just an old hunk of bones.
Now she's just a fat sack of lard waiting to die. Now, a few months before this, she never sided with me or understood where I was coming from when she was all moody and whatnot. But when this happened, it didn't really bother me. I always seemed to ignore it and just let it go. And I knew she would always love me. But here's the backstory.
What's the backstory?
About 2 months ago, I turned 17. My mother begged me to spend time with my grandma on my birthday, which I did not want to do.
I want to do cool 17-year-old shit, go to the mall.
Yeah.
Watch a movie.
Oh, that's what the kids are doing. I wanted to spend my weekend how I wanted to spend it, with a friend because it was my birthday and it was on the weekend, so I'd have school the next day.
That's completely fair.
Totally. With all her nagging, I finally decided to go to my grandmother's house anyways. Worst mistake I've ever made.
It smelled like death.
Prune juice.
Ew.
Drink it, sweetie. That day, I was supposed to get an Apple Watch, the one I wanted for my birthday. I didn't want to be in the car for much longer because I get car sick. But again, my mother was nagging me to go over to hang out with my grandma.
I feel like that's just what parents do, you know?
They nag.
You know, they nag, and they also like they want you to have a connection to your grandparents.
Sure.
My parents like all the time like, hey, you should like really hang out with your grandparents. You know,
I like that.
There's not gonna be like they're old as heck, and they're not gonna be around much longer. So spend time with them if you can.
That's good advice if I've ever heard
It is. It is.
The worst part about all of this is that I've just gotten my period. That sucks.
Like in terms of like for the first time.
I don't think for the first time, but in general.
In general.
After being in the car much longer than I anticipated, I started crying and saying that I didn't feel well. Then, after my grandma came back, my mom told her. My grandma was mad at me the whole day after that, made it all about her, how I betrayed her, and that I am no longer...
It's her birthday. Yo, I feel like with all her grandma old wisdom, she would know not to be a
Well, you think that's bad. Opie says that the grandma then said that she is no longer her grandchild.
This seems like a disgusting overreaction.
This is just 1,000 out of 10 over here.
Wow.
Just way over the line.
Wow.
The reason why we originally deviated from getting the Apple Watch was to find something for her that she was missing. So the car sickness is kind of like all because of Grammy.
So it's like not only is OP not getting the present that she wanted, but she's not even get to celebrate how she wanted.
And she's sick, yeah.
And she's stuck with her
And
old
has
ass
a period.
grandma. And that's a period, yeah.
Yoinks. I was so confused. I was crying. I didn't understand why she was so mad. Then they told me that she was missing something, so we went to the store to go find it. I didn't listen to the conversation because I had my AirPods on. The whole day of my birthday, she didn't really want to spend time with me or come to an understanding with me, which left me heartbroken. And I can never forgive her for that.
Okay, I'm not saying what grandma did was right, but it's really hard to have a conversation with a moody teenager who has their AirPods in.
It really is, though.
Yeah. How do you know? Grandma might have been like, dearie, are you okay? And you're just jamming a Blink 182.
This is where the revenge comes in. My grandmother is turning 62 soon. Her birthday's coming up. My and her birthday is not that far apart. And me and my family like to spend our birthday together. And you know what? I'm going to make it all about me. I'm going to go out and pretend like it's my birthday. I couldn't enjoy my birthday because she wanted to ruin it for selfish reasons. So I'm going to ignore her the whole time. And if anyone stops me, I'll remind her of what she did on my birthday. I'm going to bring a cake of my own and light it with the number 18 on it.
I love how petty this is. This is classic teenage, like angsty revenge.
And this last part is like the petty
sauce.
bow on the box there. Even though I don't feel any emotional attachment to her, I do feel bad.
No emotional attachment to your grandma? Damn.
0. Even
also low key, bro, like grandma, like daughter, like grandma's like, I'm cutting you out.
Yeah.
And then daughters, like granddaughter's like, yeah, I'm cutting you out too.
The apple did not fall far from the tree here. Even still, I do feel bad for doing this. What do you say?
Do feel bad. So how about that last sentence where you're like, I don't feel bad at all?
How about that? What do you say? Is this too petty revenge or not? I need to know what you all think about the pettiness, if it's too far or not. Samuel, what do you think?
I think it's a little far.
I think both are a little too far.
Yeah, I think like I would say both are a little bit the a-hole. I think well, grandma is way more the a-hole because she
should know better.
She should know better.
Come on.
17-year-old turning 18, like, you know.
And why does she have to be in the car? Like, I believe it was her mom and the grandma. So it's like, why does she have to be there in the car when she gets car sick? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And also, you know, it's like her birthday. Like, let her have her birthday.
Come on.
She can hang out with grandma any other time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd say grandma a-hole, granddaughter a-hole, but a little less because it's like a retaliation a-hole.
Yes.
You know? And I think like a retaliation a-hole is like maybe like 70% of a real a-hole.
Yeah.
Like that's a conversion factor.
Yep. The a-hole ratio.
I don't give an F if they're toddlers. I'm evicting them and kicking them to the streets.
Come on, little Timmy.
I, 23 female, and my roommate, 23 male, have lived in our apartment complex since July. It's a generally peaceful area, sort of between the suburbs and the city, and the place itself is rather nice. Good for you, OP, good for you. However, we are considering moving and even saving up to break our lease because of some absolutely terrible neighbors.
Sounds bad.
Sounds terrible. Our upstairs neighbors have 3 kids, and the youngest spends every moment screaming like this. Ah! I'm not talking just usual toddler cries. I mean, this kid is screaming like their arms are being ripped off. It's highly disturbing.
Ugh,
which
God.
now I'm like, yo, maybe you should check on that.
Check on them? I don't
Like,
know.
is that toddler okay?
Literally.
Is that toddler getting its arms ripped off?
I don't know, bro.
Maybe we should check. I hear the two parents yelling/arguing at each other loudly at ungodly hours as well. So, like toddler-like parent, I guess. We have a noise rule at the complex. Quiet hours between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. These kids will be screaming full volume like they're in pain at like 12 to 3 a.m. every single night.
Jeez.
That's not normal.
No, it's not.
Also, like when are those kids getting sleep? 12 to 3?
Yeah.
And they're going to school?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, if they're toddlers, they could be sleeping during the day. It's possible. Like a
I guess,
2-year-old.
yeah, toddlers. They have 3 kids. I guess maybe all of them could be babies.
Yeah.
Damn, screaming bloody murder. That sucks.
That's a lot.
I live with chronic fatigue, probably because of the freaking screaming toddlers, as part of my disability. And having enough sleep is really important to me. Even if you didn't have a disability, I feel like it's important
real.
to everyone. I truly struggle to function at all if I miss lots of sleep. Their screaming is affecting my school, my work life, and my physical health. There's more to this story. I want to know what y'all would do in this situation. John, what do you think OP should do?
Scoop up the babies, fly to the Amazon rainforest, drop them in the jungle. They become Tarzan and get discovered by a scientist years later.
That's perfect.
It's kind of a solution.
On top of this, their kids will open other tenants' mail/packages and leave garbage, cups, waters, bottles, candy wrappers, tissues, all over our grass, and often throw it out their windows where it lands on my air conditioner.
Why?
Little like freaking what's that in Looney Tunes? The Tasmanian devil just tearing through everything. I've made at least 30 complaints to management. I swear I'm calling them all the time.
Ugh.
They always say they'll send out a notice, but the problem never stops. It's crazy that like they can get away with this. I feel like most tenants is like, oh dude, if you're it up for the community, like
don't you want to keep the other tenants?
Yeah, come on.
Like what?
Last night I took matters into my own hands. Around 11 p.m. I was getting ready for bed and trying to wind down after work. And then they started screaming right above my bedroom. I knocked the ceiling with a broom, and their father stomped back so hard the apartment shook and bits of my ceiling started falling out.
Jeez.
So they're kind of like having like, they're like, hey, you, like, or OP is like, hey, can you like quiet down? He's like, oh, I can't quiet down. Boom, boom, boom. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Taste my fury.
I went upstairs and knocked, and I couldn't even get a hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind? Before their father went absolutely nuclear.
Oh.
He started screaming in my face. This is a grown-ass man screaming, this is my house. I don't care. No sleep. No sleep to you. No sleep for you. My house. I love like the broken sentence structure.
He's just caveman neighbor. My house. Be loud. You take.
Before slamming the door in my face. At this point, I'm worried if I do call management and consequences do happen that I'll face retaliation from my neighbors. I don't know. As a small, cute girl, I also didn't even realize that OP was a small, cute girl.
A lady.
A lady. Ooh. There's something about a much larger man raising their voice aggressively like that really scares me. And I can tell you, it's probably scary if you're a dude too.
Yup.
However, I feel guilty. These are 3 kids with their mom, dad, and grandmother in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. I hate to be a snitch, and I hate the thought that if they get consequences like heavy fines or eviction, I'm effing up their life more. I don't know. Am I the a-hole?
I'm sure many people watching have run into this scenario before.
Oh yeah, I mean
sure.
like noisy tenants are, you know, like it's just like a thing of living.
Yes. It is life.
Yes, and I am that noisy
Yeah,
tenant.
I was about to say, Sam's on the other side of the coin.
Please tell me what you would do in this situation. But in terms of the a-holes in this story,
Yep.
OP, not the a-hole.
Nope.
I mean, you're just trying to get some sleep.
Literally.
Right? Children, I don't think the a-hole.
Big
They're too
a-hole.
young. Yeah.
Big a-hole.
a-hole.
Take it.
Parents, huge a-holes.
Definitely.
1, for not like, I guess, helping their kids not scream. And then 2, for yelling themselves.
Yeah.
Right? If
it's
they're
too much.
yelling all the time, like that, they're contributing to the noise. So
100%.
I say OP has every right to complain and
That's right.
to also just see if those kids are okay.
Yeah, check in on him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I told a client they are too fat for a massage. Am I the a-hole?
I'll be honest, Sam, it sounds like it. Seems pretty cut and dry.
It does, but it's like, what if they're too fat? I, 25 male, work as a masseur for a somewhat small spa and have been doing so for 3 years. This week, I had to do something that I had never had to do before.
Different kind of massage.
A happy ending massage. What happened was that we had a group booking for 4 people. As per usual, I grabbed the questionnaire and waiver for the client I was going to take. But then when I saw her, I became concerned.
Uh-oh.
She was clearly well over 400 pounds.
I mean, that's hefty.
That's hefty.
It is.
How much do you weigh?
I'm like was 160 or 170.
I'm around the same. That's like 3 of us. Aside from the weight capacity, 400 pounds, it's a lot of weight. I wasn't sure if she would have been able to fit on the table, but I put that concern aside.
Super quick solution. I recently watched a Nathan For You episode.
Yes.
He had overweight people on horses with helium balloons.
Is that true?
20 pounds off per balloon.
Wow. For the sake of safety, I decided to weigh her with the result being 465 pounds, with the table's capacity being 495 pounds. In the most polite way I could, I decided to not risk it. I told her that for her safety, I can't service her. As an alternative, I offered her other services where her weight wouldn't be an issue. Just put it on the ground. Like, what's the deal with, like, do you need to be in a massage table to have a massage?
Why do we got to be horizontal?
Yeah.
Why are these questions never asked?
I don't know if you've ever done a massage train, but like you can do that standing, sitting,
You be vertical.
laying down on the floor. Unfortunately, she was too upset, embarrassed as a result. She and her group decided to cancel their appointments. And because of this, 3 of my colleagues absolutely hate my guts now. They all believe that I should have been more accommodating to her. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should OP have turned this this hefty lady away? Or should OP have done some kind of solution? John, what do you think?
So, look, we mentioned many solutions. Helium balloons, vertical massages, but I got an even simpler solution. Go to the person and be like, here's the deal. The table is $495. You're $465. Are you cool with that? If she's cool with it.
Yeah. Just like have her sign an extra safety waiver.
Extra safety, you know, boop, 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 little signature.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And OP gets money. OP gets paid.
I think it's fun.
Let's do it.